This week on the show, from the Venture Brothers and the films of Hal Hartley, James Urbaniak. From WordGirl, Anita Serwacki. From Drunk History, Craig Cackowski. It's the Novelizers.
Don't want your popcorn, don't want your milk duds, don't want my shoes stuck in pools of sticky cola. Don't show me romance, don't show me fist fights, just show me words printed out under the book lights. Yeah, baby, novelize the movie. Give me sentences, paragraphs, and nothing to see. Yeah, novelize the movie. Write a book and turn it into a podcast.
Welcome to the Novelizers, the podcast where we dust off stale old movies and turn them into fresh, exciting new books. I'm Christine Bullen, filling in for Dave Hill this week, and I'm joined by Stephen Levinson. Stephen, how we doing?
Thanks for asking. I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Why only okay?
I don't know. The world's insane. I guess this is the podcast where we escape the insane world and don't talk about it.
Let's not talk about it at all. I don't want to remind anyone that the world's going to shit right now. Let's just listen to this cool novel, right?
Very cool novel. You know what's not going to shit is Gotham City.
That's right.
I guess it kind of is too.
I mean, in the movie, like, it is.
Yeah, but in an escapist way.
But exactly, in a way that it doesn't actually affect you in your real life, you know? As long as you don't, connect it to what's actually going on in our real world. You get it.
Right. Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a bummer. But what's not a bummer is the fact that we have an amazing episode of The Novelizers. We've got Anita Serwacki, a writer who is a longtime contributor to The Onion, senior editor at Cracked Magazine, and writer for the animated series and comic book WordGirl. Gotta love WordGirl.
We do. We love WordGirl. We also love that we have James Urbaniak, who is an amazing character actor and voice artist, best recognized as Dr. Thaddeus Rusty Venture on the Venture Brothers, and for films such as Henry Fool, Ned Rifle, and American Splendor.
Those are some good films.
Those are some good films. He's done some good work.
And continuing our show of people with hard to pronounce last names, we have Craig Cackowski. He's been seen on such shows as Drunk History, Community, and The Pitt, heard on the Thrilling Adventure Hour podcast, and he travels the world improvising with his wife, Carla, in their duo, Orange Tuxedo.
Yes, and now I would like to give you a tongue twister of Serwacki, Urbaniak, Cackowski. Okay, now try that 3 times
We should just
fast.
call this the Serwacki, Urbaniak, Cackowski show.
Wow, you did that really well just now, though. That was a lot. Serwacki, Urbaniak, Cackowski. Serwacki, Urbaniak, Cackowski. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Listener, try that at home.
Exactly.
Serwacki, Urbaniak, and Cackowski are all joining together to help us retell The Dark Knight. And Christine, where are we in the middle of our story?
Okay, so I believe that the Joker attacks Harvey Dent's transfer convoy. He's just attacked the transfer convoy, right? And the Batman intervenes.
Yes. Let's
is that where we are?
That is exactly what's going to happen this week. James Urbaniak, novelize us.
The Novelizers. The Dark Knight, Chapter 15. We Got the Batman Convoy. Novelized by Anita Serwacki. Narrated by James Urbaniak. Alone, under the flickering fluorescence of an MCU holding cell, Harvey Dent shakes his head and chuckles gruffly, much like a green-tinged dollar store Harrison Ford, who was clearly too old, stoned, or expensive for this role. How much did I blow on that last election campaign? 5, 6 mil? Harvey muses handsomely. Could have just announced, I am the Gotham District Attorney, and those dopes would have been all like, yeah, okay, cool, so you are. Here's the office keys. Cleaning ladies come for the garbage about 7 p.m. Harvey's bewilderment is interrupted by the heavy turn of a jailhouse key. Enter a pretty steamed Rachel, aiming to give him the business and perhaps a what for. But Harvey is poised to disarm her with his square-jawed charm, favoring his left side, his handsomest side, as he lays down some bullshit. I'm sorry. I didn't have time to talk this through with you. I had a chiropractor appointment, then this weird thing with my electric bill came up, and I was on hold for like an hour. Next thing you know, I'm the Batman. He shrugs, coyly. Rachel stares at him blankly. Yep, I think she bought it. Harvey mentally high-fives himself. As the couple is escorted out of the cell and through a sea of law enforcement vehicles, Harvey contemplates explaining exactly how he plans to outsmart a psychotic clown with infinite goons and nothing to lose. But everything he comes up with sounds dumb, reckless, and incredibly expensive for the Gotham taxpayers. Don't worry, plan's airtight. Easy peasy. Nearby, the acting commissioner addresses a bustling coalition of local cops and SWAT forces, announcing that the streets of Gotham have been completely cleared for Operation Move a Guy from one building to another. The convoy stops for no reason, the commissioner bellows. A cop in the crowd smiles to himself and quietly begins to hum a percussive line. Rachel pauses, pleading with Harvey to fess up to the truth. He considers and reaches into his pocket. I've just the thing that will advise if I should go through with this cockamamie plan. Rachel expects to see Harvey's lucky coin, but instead he produces a small magic 8-ball keychain. Found this in the junk drawer last night. Thought it'd be fun to mix things up a bit. He hands it to Rachel. Go on, give it a shake. The trade show promotional trinket is branded with the logo of a legal recruiting company named Lawful. We have your staffing answers. Rachel's eyes narrow as she regards the keychain. Jesus, that name sucks. Lawful? Awful? Is this where you got that temp with the fungus on his hands? Shake it, Harvey demands. Rachel glances skeptically at Harvey, but dutifully shakes the keychain. The answer cube becomes lodged, and only a corner of it is visible. Harvey scowls handsomely. Try it again. Sometimes they get stuck. It's probably been sitting in the drawer since '96. Rachel gives it another go. The answer cube finally reads, Paralegal. See, I'm right, Dent evades, snatching the keychain from her hand before she can get a good look. He stuffs it back into his pocket. Dent and Rachel continue through an ocean of Gotham detectives, toward the van that will carry him to Central Holding. Several of the assembled men slow clap for Dent as he is hauled into the rear of the vehicle. The clapping eerily keeps time with the aforementioned cops humming. Since the city blew its budget on like 700 vehicles to convoy the living hell out of Gotham, they could only afford to staff the back of Harvey's van with a single lieutenant, young Darryl Zambricki. Harvey seats himself on the bench across from Darryl as the officer uses his weapon to tap out a marching rhythm. This rhythm is also in tempo with the humming and the clapping. One might say it is now cloyingly familiar, perhaps even strikingly similar to the opening of the 1975 CB novelty song Convoy by C.W. McCall, which was later adapted by Bloody Sam Peckinpah into the big screen trucker hit of the same name, starring Chris Christopherson and Ally McGraw. One might say that. They just might. Zambricki whispers, Breaker 19, this here's Darryl Bricky. Mercy's sakes alive, looks like we got us a convoy. He and Dent lock eyes as the rear of the van is secured. This better not take too freaking long, Harvey stews internally as the convoy begins to roll. Zambricki cannot hold back. He breaks out in song. Fire trucks are burning and all the cops are turning down a shady underpass. But it's a setup by the Joker's garbage goons to bear some SWAT team ass. We got the Batman convoy, no one thought this through. Yeah, we got the Batman convoy, not one face but two. Convoy. In a stroke of luck, Joker got a carnival truck. One's full of laughs and rides, but now it says slaughter, it's a killing thing with clowns and thugs inside. We got the Batman convoy, riding through Gotham's night. We got the Batman convoy, so where the hell's the Dark Knight? The van is suddenly sideswiped by Joker's truck. Zambricki ends his serenade screaming the lyrics. Convoy, come join our convoy. It's a Batman convoy. Mercy sakes. The vehicles dance through the street as Joker readies a bazooka aimed for Dent's van. God, this was a mistake, Harvey grumbles. Then has a moment of clarity. But damn, he's right. Where the hell is Batman? Good Bat question. As it turns out, the Batmobile was looking fine as hell that day, and Batman happened upon a Gotham sideshow where he is currently doing donuts around the city's wayward youth, taunting them with the coolness of automotive justice. He only snaps out of it when the kids begin excitedly running off, whooping it up about Joker wrecking stuff nearby. Annoyed by his thinning crowd, Batman finally decides to make an appearance at the convoy, salving his hurt feelings by overturning the goons' garbage truck and killing them good. Back to business, he careens toward Joker's bazooka rocket meant for Harvey's van. The Batmobile takes a direct hit, but as it turns out, stupid Lucius Fox didn't make it bazooka-proof. The car's toast, dunzo, flaming on a Gotham street like a drunk trust fund kid's Lambo. But what's this? Batman emerges from the twisted wreckage unscathed, decoupling the somehow intact front portion of the vehicle, which transforms into the Bat-Cycle. The Bat-Cycle gives Batman a thrilling new freedom, and he begins driving like an absolute jerk, just wrecking the streets. Batman makes a detour into a shopping mall, where he continues driving like a total maniac. A pack of ATV and dirt bike jerks that had been menacing shoppers takes notice of his craven disregard for life and property. These jerks also begin to follow along with the sideshow kids. Batman has inadvertently created his own maladjusted garbage convoy. But after getting a bit too bat-cocky swerving around mall kiosks, Batman loses control of the Bat-Cycle. He crashes into a Foot Locker, where the vehicle explodes. But what's this? Batman has once again escaped death and is ejected onto a chunk of the charred Bat-Cycle remains. It appears he is now navigating a hoverboard, or Batboard, if you will. He scowls at the new device. The Batboard is not a dope ride he wants to show off to his new pals. Batman glances at his watch. It's probably time he catches up with the Dent convoy anyway, plus numerous members of his dirtbag convoy and dozens of folks who were just there to get a new pair of kicks are now engulfed in flames. That's the time to skedaddle. Lucius never told Batman about this stupid Batboard deal, so he never learned of its capabilities, and they never had any practice runs. Batman begins moving forward in fits and starts, wobbling precariously. The handful of sideshow and ATV kids who are not burning alive laugh and point. Humiliated, Batman flips them off and buzzes away down a darkened street. He meanders through Gotham, trying to catch up to the convoy, but there's now so much flaming destruction across the city that it's difficult to pinpoint where the action actually is. But as luck would have it, Joker has briefly slipped out of the convoy and pulled his amusement park truck up to a hot dog stand. He was snacky. Joker pauses mid-bite as an annoying noise pierces the Gotham night, growing closer and louder. He lights up when he spies the Batboard approaching. Joker gobbles down the last chunk of his sloppy chili dog and puts the truck in gear, barreling straight toward that grating buzzing.
Is he a bat, or is he a chicken?
Joker ponders aloud. Silently, he wishes he had taken advantage of the chili dog combo meal. The Batboard buzzes. The amusement truck roars. The vehicles are headed for collision.
There's gotta be a thing I can do with this piece of crap,
fumes Batman as he pushes all the buttons on his suit to activate Batboard defenses. One button shoots out a slick of old lady-smelling hand soap. Another causes little spinning knives adorned with streamers to spring out from its wheels. Another plays a horn rendition of La Cucaracha. He smashes one last button on his wrist, and suddenly a mighty wave of barbed wire spews from the base of the Batboard. It wraps tightly around Joker's truck, flipping it in the street, seemingly ending the chase. But what's this? From the smoldering truck wreckage stumbles a baffled Joker. He is genuinely impressed by the amount of wire that was crammed into one little hoverboard and makes a mental note to get himself a goon who's good at cramming things into things. Joker's tongue slaps about his chilly-slick lips as he staggers forward, raising his arms and taunting the Batman.
Come on, let's go. Come crash your skateboard into me, Batty. Come on! I gotta see what that little bitty vehicle turns into next. You got roller skates in there? A sit and spin?
Batman is full of fury. He is very sensitive about people making fun of his bat gadgets. A growl emerges from the Batsuit as the Batboard's tiny wheels whiz rapidly in Joker's direction. He's aiming to smash the Joker good. But he can't. No, He will not use his hoverboard of righteousness to hurt this clown, plus it really could turn into a sit-and-spin on impact, and that would be embarrassing. At the last minute, Batman swerves and misses, continuing down a side street into the night. Eventually, he rejoins the sideshow gang at the smoldering mall where, now more confident on the Batboard, he pulls some slick wheelies to the crowd's delight. After Batman's departure, Detective Gordon appears and hauls Joker away, certain to face justice that will have made the scores of gruesome deaths and several billions of dollars of damage totally worth it. Meanwhile, a rattled Harvey Dent emerges from the rear of his convoy van, revealing an incapacitated Zambricki slumped on the floor. As Detective Ramirez ushers Dent into the back of a police car, Harvey waves toward Zambricki's passed-out form. "Breaker 19, there's a magic 8-ball stuffed down that man's throat that says Associate Attorney. And also, I got a date with a pretty upset girlfriend." Convoy.
Thank you, James, and thanks for that amazing rendition of Convoy. And if you aren't familiar with Convoy, just look it up on YouTube, and that episode will make a lot more sense.
We've got way more novelizers to go, but before you hear that, here is a vital message from some soap company or something or another like that.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
And we're back. I bet you never thought about this, Stephen, but it takes a lot of people to make a film like The Dark Knight. Not just a director and a guy to put on a Batman suit and another couple of guys to put on other Batman suits. It takes a bunch of people that you never even see on the screen. Did you know that? Did you ever stop to thank them, Stephen, or even recognize their work?
Oh, I guess I didn't. Geez.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have sat down with some of these people. And today we get to hear a conversation I had with Shmuley from Transpo. Just an absolutely delightful human. Let's hear that interview. Welcome to the interview portion of the Novelizers. I'm Christine, and today I am joined by a very special guest who worked on the film The Dark Knight. This is someone who worked in Transpo, if I'm correct, and your name is Shmuley? Am I pronouncing that right? Shmuley?
Yeah, you know, my government name is John Jacob Schmullivan, but everyone kind of knows me as Shmuley. If you've worked on a production in the greater Chicagoland area over the last 45 years or so, chances are I've been a driver on that production. So, Transpo, short for transportation, just one of the cutesy things we do in the biz. But yeah, I'm Shmuley from Transpo.
Wow, 40 years. That is a long career, and all in Chicago.
Mostly in Chicago for the most part. I did, what did I do? I did the Bozo Show. I did Blues Brothers was one. Oprah. I was Oprah's driver for a number of years.
Oh, wow.
Siskel and Ebert, all the different permutations of their show. And now I'm on the Dick Wolf shows, Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Chicago Toll Booth, Chicago
There's
Tax.
A lot of, did you say toll booth?
I think there is a toll booth one. Yeah. I think it's low stakes comparatively, but...
Yeah, what would be like what's the premise there?
I think it's like people who don't pay the tolls, and then, it's toll booth cops who got to track them down.
At a certain point, you got to just start finding new jobs for these people to have in Chicago for these shows, right? Because we've done all of the big paramedic ones,
Dick Wolf is brought a lot of business to our town. We're a union town, so any union work is good.
Yeah, for sure. So you've had a very long career here. So and you drive all different kinds of vehicles. Is it more?
I'm in a van. I'm going parking to base to set to catering, catering to base to parking, any one of those permutations. That's probably me, so actors, directors, crew, everybody's got to be transported from one place to another. It's pretty democratic in there. You get grips mixing it up with big time Hollywood actors.
Okay. So you worked on this film. Tell me about any memories you have about this film in particular. What sets this apart from some of the other jobs you've done in Chicago?
Well, the Dark Knight is I believe like a superhero thing, right?
Oh, yes. Yes. Have you not seen the movie?
Haven't seen it or heard good things. Because I work on a lot of things, you always make a promise of like, oh yeah, I'll check that one out. But you miss one and then you feel like I'd feel bad if I watched one but not the other. So I try to be pretty consistent across the board of no movies, no TV.
Oh, wow. You work in the industry and you do not watch movies or television and none of the stuff that you work on.
I like to watch a lot of sports. I like to hang with the grandkids, I play a lot of pinochle.
Oh, wow. I mean, we've got too much to watch these days anyway. So I think this is really cool. Now, tell me, do you remember driving any of the performers, the actors or any of the crew from the movie The Dark Knight?
Absolutely. Name one name on that show, and I've got a colorful story about them, I'm sure.
Well, probably the most iconic performance is Heath Ledger.
Okay. Heath Ledger. Aussie fella?
Yeah.
Maybe a Kiwi? I don't know. I can't tell the difference in the accents, but...
Yeah, he was Australian, yeah. He had kind of like long curly hair and he played the Joker. So he was very, very important role. And
totally remember him. Nice Aussie kid, good looking, tall fella. Had a lot of, he had immaculate makeup in the van and then it would get mushed up as people kissed him. But I'll tell you, there were a lot of actors on there and sometimes you get, what do you call them? Methodist actors?
No, that's a denomination. Method is which is where the actor really immerses themselves completely in the role,
yes.
And whether they're filming or not, they're playing that character. It's a way to really infuse yourself into the role in the film.
Okay, yeah, there were a lot of those on this particular show. Okay, but Heath, not that at all. I feel like he's one of those guys who can turn it on and off. He was super friendly. He would always ask me to turn on the radio. He'd sing along with the radio. He'd sing, Can't Take My Eyes Off of You.
Shmuley, this is so interesting because the narrative is that it was the opposite, is that he was so method on this movie that it might be one of the reasons that he ended up dying so young after the filming of this, because it was psychologically such a devastating role to have to play. I mean, the character itself is just performs these heinous crimes.
I mean, all I can tell you is what I saw from base to set, from set to parking, from parking to catering, from catering back to set. And this kid was so kind. I'm known as kind of like a colorful character in the transpo world. I usually line my dashboard with a lot of, now I got Labubu's. I got a tons of Labubu's. But
I bet your grandkids love those.
Oh, they do. They do. You can never have too many Labubu's. I got there's a little one and there's a big one there. But back in the day when we were doing that show, it was probably, I don't know, Smurfs, Trolls. I had something, some colorful figurines or whatever. And Heath would always be like, I don't know if I can do the accent, but hi, Bruce.
It's pretty good.
Hi, Bruce. What's that name? What's that name? He would call me Bruce for whatever reason, and I would have to tell him what Smurf was what Smurf, and he loved it, and then we'd sing along in the car together. Just sweet kid.
What a cool story that you have about someone that, I mean, yeah, people really feel the opposite about this film, that he was so method. Well, okay, so you say that you remember all of the people that you drove on this film. I would love to hear about someone else. What about the director, Christopher Nolan?
Okay. British fella?
Actually,
I think he's
don't know. Okay, yeah, he might be.
That's all right.
But
That's
you
all right.
know better than me, 'cause I've never met him, so I don't know.
Actually, I do remember him. I assumed he was crafty. You get like Michael Caine. Obviously, I know who Michael Caine is, but other than that kind of well-known British person, if there's another British person working on a set in Chicago, I'm assuming he's doing catering or crafty or something like that. I do remember one day he was like, Schmully. I think I was taking him from catering to parking. No.
Okay.
No, it was from set to parking. And he said, Schmully, you ever have dreams? And I said, sure, Chris. He said, you ever have a dream within a dream? And I said, well, I guess so. And then he said, you ever have a dream within a dream within a dream? And then I'm like, I bet time would work differently if you kept going within, further and further within a dream. 10 seconds in one dream might be a year in another. Because, when you have a dream of you can't really keep track of time.
This was probably a time when he was developing the script or the idea for a movie that came out shortly after The Dark Knight called Inception.
Inception.
Yes, it's an incredible movie about a dream within a dream. You might have cracked one of the greatest films of our generation. You might have created the idea for Inception.
Well, if I helped him out in some small way, then I'm flattered.
I mean, I think listen, I know you have this rule that you don't want to hurt the feelings of one, I guess, show or movie you've worked on by watching it. If you haven't watched, please, you have to watch the movie Inception and try to remember this conversation you had with him. And maybe you'll really realize that you kind of were the impetus, the origin story for this movie.
Okay, I'm going to try to find a pen. Okay.
Yeah, you should.
Inception with an I.
Yeah, like the inception of an idea, the origin.
Okay. All right. Add it to the list. I didn't work on it, so I can see it.
Yes. Okay, great. It won't make any of the others feel bad. Well, listen, that's fascinating. I'd love to hear just one more story about someone that you remember from this movie. Maggie Gyllenhaal?
Okay. All right. Maggie Gyllenhaal. Tall gal?
Yeah, she's pretty tall.
Yeah. Nice gal. Mm-hmm. I think she must have had her own parking situation because I don't think I picked her up at parking very often. She probably had one of those conditions where you can drive right to your trailer. Now, why Heath Ledger or Christopher Nolan did not have that, I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting because you'd think the other two would also have it if she had it, but who knows?
I got that vibe from her a little bit, like she was too good to get in my van. She would go, even if she was the only one in the van, I'm picking her up at base, taking her to set, or maybe set back to base. Maybe we go base to catering. She would make a beeline for the furthest seat away from me. And I'm like, oh, okay, guess we're not talking about my Smurfs.
Give me an example of what you would do if it seemed like she didn't really want to engage. What would you say?
Pretty nice day, huh? Are you playing Maggie Gyllenhaal in this scenario?
Yeah, I'm playing her.
Okay, great. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, who was your favorite role player on the Bulls 96 team?
What?
Well, everyone knows Michael, Scotty, Dennis, of course, the backbone of the team. But then you got Luke Longley, you got Steve Kerr, Stacey King. I think was on that team. I'm
just not really interested in talking. I'm trying to just prepare myself for I have a big scene today.
Oh, okay. Well, when Steve Kerr would have a big game, he would fast for 24 hours. So he felt lean and mean, and then, I think he shot close to 50% on threes that season, which is amazing.
Wow. I'll break from my character now. I can't even play the character of someone who doesn't want to talk to you. You're so kind.
Oh, that's so kind of you. Yeah. And maybe, in fairness to Maggie Gyllenhaal, maybe, we just didn't have enough time together. I would have cracked her eventually.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I can't imagine how you wouldn't. Well, listen, Shmuley, I'm so happy that you joined us today, and I'm not surprised at all that you have your own sort of fame in Chicago for being a transpo guy who, just cares about the people he drives.
Well, that's so kind of you, and I'm definitely going to check out Reception.
No, Inception.
I wrote it down. Yeah.
Just so you remember, it's like the word means like the origin of an idea. And to me, I honestly believe you might have been the inception for Inception.
Well, again, if I helped them out in some small way, that I'm very flattered.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Shmuley. It's been truly just a delight to talk to you. And if I'm ever in Chicago and I need a driver, you better believe I'm going to look you up.
Okay, absolutely. I can take you from parking to set. From set to parking, take you from set to catering, whatever you need.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day, Shmuley.
Yeah, you too.
Wow, great interview. Thanks, Christine. Well, that's our show for this week. See you next time. Special thanks to this week's contributors, Anita Serwacki, James Urbaniak, and Craig Cackowski. And thanks for sitting down with me in the big virtual chair, Christine.
I love it. Serwacki, Urbaniak, Cackowski.
I'll just do the first names. Anita, James, and Craig. Why didn't we do that this whole time?
Thanks, Stephen.
See you next time.
The Novelizers is hosted by me, Dave Hill, and produced by Stephen Levinson. Hey, Stephen. With Graham Douglas, Cole Emhoff, Kevin Carter, Christine Bullen, Dennis DeClaudio, and Rob Kuttner. Music by Cole Emhoff. Additional editing by Sunita Haberline. Graphic design by Crystal Dennis. Theme song by Andrew Lynn. Performed by Knots. Additional support by Elizabeth Taveras. Distributed by Cincinnati Public Radio. The Novelizers is an AI-free podcast. Written, narrated, and edited, and scored entirely by human beings. Can you imagine that? The Novelizers is a work of unauthorized parody. Sue us. See what I care. Follow the Novelizers on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And please support us on Patreon. Copyright 2026 Novelizers, LLC.